Yahoo! I'm sorry you had to hear that. But you know, when I was younger, I used to actually care about learning about other nations. Now, I was in fucking, elementary school? And maybe middle school? No, see, I went through the whole trying to learn other countries in, like, my elementary school years. But then in my middle school years, it switched to Animal Planet and all that bullshit. Then I'd say in high school, it switched to, like, I don't know, entertainment. But, you know, I read about other countries. I don't think any of the knowledge really stuck because I was a smooth-brained, goddamn idiot of a child. But every once in a while, things happen that pique my interest. And what's happening in Argentina, in South America, is one of those things. Because, see, I've talked about this in my other videos. You know, countries, for lack of a better term, inflicting self-poverty on its people. Like I've talked about when South America did this. And I talked about, you know, in the Mr. Beast videos, certain other African countries doing this. And in Venezuela, like, they literally have oil under their feet, but yet their currency isn't worth a... You might as well wipe your ass with it. But Argentina is in an odd predicament, because it used to be one of the wealthiest nations in South America, like, easily. Like, they had money and they had wealth, but then you get... It was doing so good that they started electing officials that use ideology to enrich themselves and the people around them, while now the people, like, you know, the working class people are starving. So people band together and they elect this goofball named Jarver Mealy. Now, I don't know much about him. Age 53. Party Freedom Advance. But every time I see him, it's just, he goes fucking wild. And, what's a decent article? I can't read any of that. There are articles calling him far right, and I'm like, no. He's more, I guess that says libertarianism. Right? He's elected specifically to fix an issue, and that issue is the fact that people are starving in the street, but you have these, you know, other politicians aren't doing anything about it, and again, he's gonna have pushback. People call him far right, people call him this, people call him that, and it's just, again, it's tactics we've seen before, right? So, and also, I go through Twitter, and I see this. Because again, I'm interested. You know, I can't make myself be uninterested in things I clearly am. Because, again, just a nation going towards a downward trajectory and inflicting poverty on itself is something that I fail to see why they would do this, right? I mean, there are other South American nations, but then you have nations like Peru, where they just left the free market alone, and you have this situation where every other country around Peru is doing relatively worse off than Peru. And again, we talk about this in certain African countries, right? You have South America. Again, they have an ideology which cares to really enrich people, you know, the government officials and people of a specific ideology, while the people suffer. This isn't anything that hasn't happened before, but I come across this video. Ministerio de Obras Públicas. So I don't really know how to make this go any slower than it is. Oh, hey, that's neat. Okay. Let's go over this again. Ministry of Sports and Tourism. My dude fucking goes out. Right? And I might just leave this running on loop. Ministry of Culture. Out. Let's make this go a little faster. Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development. Out. So what is happening here is he's looking at all these, I'm assuming, agencies that sprouted out when Argentina was doing good, you know, when it was wealthy. And now that people are starving in the street, he's like, okay, let's look at all these things that are sucking up money that doesn't really help the situation. Because the problem with Argentina is they can only really go up from where they're at. And like, they are doing relatively shit. And I mean, other videos go into this in broad detail, like how they're relatively low in just about every single metric used to determine, you know, a nation's standing as far as wealth and GDP and all that. So I'm not going to do all that because, one, I really don't give a shit. Two, this is just something I found interesting. I came across. I was like, huh, this is interesting. You know, someone actually and again, you can also say this is something that's kind of happening in America, right? It's like we're printing money, but we don't even know, and we're sending up money off to like Ukraine, but and it's raising taxes. But it's like, what is the end goal of all this? Like, what no one really asks, what's the point of all of this? Like, what's getting fixed? How will things change? All you hear is, oh, no, we're going to print even more money. We're going to raise even more of your taxes. And it's like, okay, but why? And apparently Argentina went through the exact same thing. And people were like, nah, fuck you. We're just going to elect someone to actually fix these issues. And again, Argentina doesn't have the resources of America to delegate. What he's doing is he's fixing a specific problem, and that is the economy. And maybe when the economy's fixed, he'll, I don't know, go off in the reeds and do whatever the fuck. Where I think right now, Milei is doing a good thing. He's doing a good thing for his country, and I'm gonna look more into this because I'm genuinely interested. Again, I can't stop myself from being interested now. I probably shouldn't because I'm an American. I should worry about things happening in America. But you see things like this, and you're like, oh no, I'm interested now. You know, you can't stop me. Oh, I'm on a high. I'm on a rush. He's just saying out to all these things, even if you resist. Yep. Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation. Fucking rip that shit out. Ministry of Labor, Employment, and Social whatever, out. Ministry of Education, Indoctrination, out. And again, people will look at this and be like, oh, well, what would we do without the Ministry of Education and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so for hundreds of years we've existed without these bureaucrats. How did we do it up until now? I mean, okay, you grease the pockets of people, and again, in America, we can have these things, and these things can help. But in a country where people are literally starving on the street, and your currency is damn near worthless, I think we should worry about that, other than, again, all these other bureaucratic places that suck up money. Because, again, you gotta pay these people. but they don't. They're not gonna fix the problem, right? They haven't been fixing the problem up until now. They've just been, I don't know, getting taxpayer money. Yeah, Ministry of Public Work out. Even if he resists. Yeah, exactly. So, again, that's all I really have to say about this. I'm going to keep my eye on Argentina because, it's just something that fascinates me. You know, looking at other nations around the world and wondering how they handle situations that, again, America's having, but I think we have enough people, despite everything that's going on, we have the resources and enough people with head on their shoulders to weather the storm until the future. But then again, you have Argentina, which is a country, just some country that used to be rich, but now it's people are starving in the street, and they have elected this guy. Now again, I don't really know and or care about him personally, but I think it's just interesting. So, whatever. That's all I gotta say about this. Peace.